What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with the overall market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, for the most part, the market's been pretty flat, but you do have some runners such as Tesla that are making some nice moves. But overall, let's break down exactly what's going on. So, as a reminder, CPI is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be the next major catalyst for the markets, alongside President Trump's August 12th deadline for the Chinese tariffs. We're going to see if President Trump extends the deadline or not. So keep that in mind. Those are the main things making news, at least right now. So what's happening, at least so far, with the trend? Well, honestly, as you guys could tell, we're still technically on an uptrend on SPY, but we still have this rising wedge. So for those who are confused, for those who think, wait, there's a rising wedge, how come we're not crashing? Well, the market doesn't always work like that because we're still in a chop zone. We're waiting for our catalyst. And then the market is still technically on an uptrend. The rising wedge is not an overnight or like a 5-minute play. This could take a long time to develop because my chart's on the 4 hour. This is showing the last couple of weeks right here, right? This whole screen is showing you the last couple of weeks. So this rising wedge could take a couple of days or even a week to pan out. It takes time, so it might not pan out immediately for those who are just asking me. So for now, let's actually talk about what's happening for the short term. So SPY is just chopping around. It's in a chop zone. As we go to the 638s, we start to slow down. As we hit 636, we like to get bought back up, and we're just stuck. Ever since the pre-market, we're just stuck in this range, and we're not going to do much until we officially see a clean break. So you want to see us close above 638 to be more bullish, at least just based off technicals alone. But if we lose that level and we can't hold above it, we could still see a turn back down. For now, we're range bound between the 636 and 638 area, not really doing a whole lot. But on the 4 hour time frame, even if we chop around for some time, I just want to warn you guys about this rising wedge, right? It's going to take a while to pan out. This is a longer term setup. It's going to take a couple of days, maybe even a week to fully pan out. But for now, I just want to give you guys a warning in case we do get some kind of rejection after CPI. Keep that in mind as time goes on. On the triple Q, it's the same thing. Now, when you go to our 5 minutes time frame, we're also just range bound. As we hit the 576s, we like to reject. As we hit the 574s, we like to get bought back up. And we've been stuck going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for the last couple of hours. The QQQ is also stuck in the middle. There's not really a whole lot going on. We're in a choppy day. So the market's indecisive, waiting for big data. That's why you typically see a lot of chop. But I would warn you to be careful with the QQQ because we tested the all-time high. And near the all-time high, we actually got this huge rejection on the QQQ. So the question is the same thing about to happen? We're going to see about that if we get a rejection or not. But keep in mind, there is a rising wedge. We're making higher highs and higher lows, but there is a rising wedge here. Right now, we're chopping between 576 and 574. We need to break past it to push higher. If we lose 574, we could be dumping a lot lower towards 570. So we'll see how it goes if we get a rejection off this wedge. You want to be very, very careful nonetheless. For the IWM, we also have a potential diamond reversal or head and shoulders. We need to get back above 222 to be bullish. If we can't, there's going to be a risk of us returning to like 218, then 215 if that fails us to come back to fill the gap. ES is bullish in terms of trend. It's making higher highs and higher lows. But if we lose 63.80, we're looking for a bigger dump. Now, when I say it's bullish, that's what the trend suggests. For the short term, it is a little bit more choppy between 64.20 and 6400, but then we could dump off this rising wedge later on, so be careful with the rising wedge on ES. NQ, same thing, higher highs, higher lows, but overall, we're approaching once again this high over here, so I'd be careful the closer we get to 23,800. And we have to lose 23,500 to turn more bearish, so I think this could push in. We'll see if we reject. So keep that in mind, and we'll see what happens with the rising wedge. For Bitcoin, we have 122,000 as resistance. We have support at 118,000. We could be dipping to 118,000. We'll just have to see how it goes, so keep that in mind. For Tesla, we have 347 as resistance, and our main support is actually down here at 340. We need to hold above 345. If it doesn't, there is a resistance here, which is where we got projections, and that could take us back down towards 340 flats. The resistance becoming support right here at 340 could be tested on Tesla. We need to hold above 345, or else I could be looking for 340. On Nvda, we're making higher highs and higher lows, but Here's the thing, there's a rising wedge. We're going to see what happens with the Chinese tariffs and also the news that came out that President Trump has been working on a deal with Nvda. He mentioned that Jensen Huang and him negotiated to get a 15% tariff. Not really a tariff. Basically, that's how much they're going to give of their revenue from the Chinese sales as they're going to be selling their next important chips. In exchange for giving away 15% of their Chinese sales revenue to the US, they're going to get the export licenses to sell more, which does benefit them. So that is what they made in terms of their deal. So we're going to see what happens with Nvidia. There is a rising wedge, though, so be careful. We need to break and hold 185 to be more bullish, but if we lose 181, we could turn back down. So we'll see how that goes. Appl dipped to support at 225, then bounced to about 230. We're still range bound between 230 and 230 and 225. Excuse me. We're still kind of stuck in the middle. Netflix is looking bullish, breaking out of this resistance. As long as you don't lose 1200, we're favoring 1250 as our targets. We're looking pretty good. AMD is looking pretty good here. We're range bound, but I want to see us basically not lose 169. As long as we don't lose this, we could consolidate and eventually try to push for 180. Coinbase is looking quite good. We have an inverse head and shoulders. As long as we don't lose 318, we're going to be favoring 337. I think there's a good chance we try to go higher. I think we're holding up quite well. Amazon might be dipping to about 218. So be very, very careful. Watch 220, then 218. Meta is range bound right now. If we end up losing 765, we're looking for a dip back down towards the gap fill at 750. We have 780, excuse me, as resistance. We're going to see how we end up reacting to 780. If we can't break that, we could be returning to 765. Google's kind of flat here. Look for a test of 200 to see if it holds. If not, we're looking for 198. And Microsoft is going to be favoring basically 529 to 530. We'll see if it rejects or not. But for now, there is upside potential. So for SPY, we're just range bound. We're just going back and forth between supply and demand. We're just chopping around as we approach CPI and then the tariff deadline for China. Will we see this just bounce here and try to push for like the 640s? Or are we about to get a big rug pull and the market's about to reject? We'll see, just to be safe. With that being said, guys, I thank you all so much for listening. Please have an awesome rest of your guys' days. I'll give you guys another update about what's happening so far with the markets. We'll just give this a couple of hours to develop. But for now, we're just very, very choppy. So one last warning is that you need to be careful with options. When the market kind of like chops around like this, it burns premiums. So if you're holding short-dated options, this could really hurt the chances of them printing more. So be very, very careful with those. And for those who are trading futures, there's not, as much volatility, but it is what it is, guys. We just have to be very patient. I expect more volatility by tomorrow, so we're just getting ready for a big move. Typically, when the market's tight, we see a big expansion in volatility, so we'll see how it goes. Thank you for listening, guys. Have a good rest of your guys' days, and I'll see you guys very, very soon on the next one. Thank you, and peace out.